Who said you can't go home? Real Estate Exposed, brought to you by Signature Real Estate. Real Estate Exposed is all about helping homeowners and those who would like to be homeowners and those who would like to get into real estate.
Welcome to Real Estate Exposed, brought to you by Signature Real Estate, where it's more than just real estate. I'm Brandon Roberts, along with these two yahoos.
Yahoo!
Chris Bishop and Tom Blanchard. They're sitting in for Vonna Nabala and Shelly Panzarella. I don't know what Vonna is off gallivanting and doing, but
she's in San Diego, I think, right?
Yeah.
she went out there. She's starting a real estate team out in California.
Yep.
And then Shelly finally got over to Hawaii. So
She's in Hawaii.
Aloha.
She finally passed her test.
Her COVID test. That's good. So anyway, we've got a great show on tap for you today, and we've got some notes here, looks like, but we also have another guest today,
Yes.
Yeah.
and it's the Frank Sala and Marv Rubin Award. This award's been traveling all around town. It was awarded to Vonna Nabala last night, and I had the pleasure of going on stage and accepting it for her because she was in San Diego. And so we've been passing around, and people have been taking pictures of it, so it's been it's well-traveled,
Craziest thing in the world is that Vonna would be getting an award and not be here to get it.
right? She didn't know.
That's the whole thing. She would have reset
Obviously.
her whole schedule.
She tells me this morning, she says, now I know why you kept asking if I was going.
We gave her every out, too.
Right?
But seriously, no, congratulations to her. This is a great award. It's for some that's involved in our legislature and involved in our PAC, and the involvement is so important to have people and agents like Vonna doing the groundwork to be able to make sure that we have the kind of laws that we can all live with.
You
as
like
a real
that,
estate.
Chris? He's like building that up
I know,
because he's
right?
on the same committee.
Suck up.
The LMT.
If what is it? If real estate is your career, politics is your business.
That's right.
Right? So V definitely has gotten out there and really been supportive in that political arena and gives her opinion.
Whether we like it or not.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the best part of it is that she has her facts and she's very detailed, and she's on the other side of the aisle for many of us, and I highly respect her opinion on a lot of it.
I
It
do
really
too.
is great.
And we're going to get to some legislative stuff because the legislative session just ended this past week.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to that in a little bit. But you guys also both won awards last night.
We did.
Not as well traveled, but
It was a good event for us.
Signature cleaned up. So
So first off, let's give it up to Tom because Tom is the local president. It was his chance to get up in front of an audience, an actual audience.
Yeah.
Because you didn't really have that opportunity, thank God.
and he blew it.
And yeah. And so I got to say you were a really good sport last night because they gave you a lot of crap. Like they sat in rooms and planned on how to give you as much crap as possible. We recorded a video
To
on how
give
to
you
give you
shit.
as much crap as
I
possible.
know. Look, it was fun. It was a great night. I'm one that hates to sit through any kind of award show or anything like
Well,
that.
tell them what it was. What kind of night was it? I mean, what event was it?
It started at 5:30.
It started at 5:30. But what was it called?
It was an installation reception for Aldo, and he opened the show. as
And
the
you closed
president
it.
as
You
he
closed it,
should.
yeah.
And Aldo and closed.
No,
I just happened to be a little bit of the middle stuff, but
It was a great event because it was done to because we didn't really have an installation and stuff to recognize Aldo on the board and kind of give you the send-off that you so
I
deserve.
definitely need a send off.
And then usually we are also every year we able to give some awards,
Yeah. Yep.
right? And you get
Yeah,
so
I
there
mean,
was
it's-
opportunity for you to do that, and it was at the Four Seasons.
6 months passed. I mean, normally it's towards the end of the year.
It's at the
your
installation,
presidency,
usually.
we give out some of the awards, and I got to do that. And one of them was for Chris for making it the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, old timer.
Look,
I was shocked. I mean, it was really cool because it's one of those things that's like a lifetime achievement goal is to be in the Realtor Hall of Fame, and for Las Vegas Realtors and whatever they're called today. And it was really cool for me that I joined that group with Keith Lynham and Haiti Kasama, and Keith and Haiti and I all came up through leadership together, and Keith and Haiti were presidents in order, and Dave Tina Jr. was between Keith and I, but Haiti, Keith, and I were all state presidents in order together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of cool for that whole thing. We've done a lot and traveled a lot together, and it was a great group to be part of.
Yeah, it was fun.
And you got the big one. You got Realtor of the Year.
Yeah.
Don't say yeah. I mean, but once we got over the shock and awe, I mean, it's pretty amazing. That's a great honor.
We're still
for you.
surprised. We still think they should do a recount, but nonetheless, you've got the award. So
I know. So yeah, I mean, look, it's an honor to be named Realtor of the Year, and hopefully I continue to provide everybody with the emphasis of.
I think we should talk about why you got Realtor of the Year. I mean, I've got to get it out there.
How did they change the rules?
So I got to say, Tom, I actually believe you earned that award.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's just.
This show isn't going to be broadcast very far, is it?
No.
I wanted to get out there.
keep it local.
It's funny because I actually think we actually lost our connection for a minute during that whole speech you made, so it's almost like it never happened.
Yes.
I'm not even sure it was recorded, so it won't even make the real podcast. So that's cool.
But it was fun. It was good, and I'm glad to be. It's an honor, and we'll just keep on doing what we do.
So yeah, I mean, it was great, and it was to see some of the highlights from all your
the videos were good.
My opening videos.
Yeah. So we're gonna go down to you now for the weather. How's the weather outside?
I gotta tell you, the weather is hot, just like our current market. It continues to be a scorcher out there. Plenty of fuel on the fire. And here we.
But seriously, it is hot in Vegas right now, and it just.
But it's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat.
Yeah. The sweat doesn't dry, but it's dry. Hey, before we go on from the awards, there is something I want to point out that happened the other day. Julie Youngblood's award for the Ron Reese Award was kind of cool. And I don't know if many of you guys know this, but Julie and her sister and I and our parents were best friends as I grew up. And so we kind of were thrown into the real estate thing from that. But it was really kind of cool that both her and I last night got, huge accolades for things that we did in the real estate industry. But I give her a big prop. And one of my mentors, Devin Reese, got the Woody. Hey. It's better when you call it the Woody, but the Jack Woodcock Distinguished Service Award.
Yeah. And rightfully so.
Yeah, he deserved it.
In charge of our legislative stuff and locally, and he's done a great job and continues on. And I can only hope that one day I'll be as good as some of those people that have
you already got the award. That's all Tom needs is a Woody.
So have you got the Realtor Award, Chris?
I got it for the state.
There you go.
Oh,
I was statewide, Tom. I just don't think in small regions like you do.
All right.
I think in the whole
I'll have
place.
to work on that and see if I can get that too.
I think you're well on your
It's
way.
a race.
So, well on your way. So also wanted to mention we're back up and running with the real estate school here at Signature. So if anyone out there is looking to get into real estate, signatureschoolnv.com, you can register. Currently the cost for the correspondence course is $299, but we're offering rebates once you graduate the school and come work for us.
Yeah.
Money back.
Money back.
I think it's kind of cool right now, the amount of people that are leaving industries to get into, what do we do? We're independent contractor type businesses where they're not limited, like they can't be laid off because of something that they did or didn't do. And you heard about the Uber shortage, right? People were literally not Ubering people around because
it's just another shortage.
Well, unemployment. It was easier to stay on unemployment than it was to do that. And so all of those things were happening at once. And I've seen way more people jump into real estate that we've been talking about. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, the membership of the board's going up every month. Mm-hmm. In fact, they're talking about doing a big orientation to kind of catch up on all the past
several hundred.
Yeah.
So
it's good. Cool. I mean, look, real estate's a great job to be in. It can be very rewarding, and it can put a lot of money in your pocket if you just do the right thing.
You mean like sell houses?
Well, and if you do the right thing in the position as a realtor, and not so worry about your commission and just worry about the client, the money will come, and it'll come in bucket loads more than if you just worry about the commission all the time.
Bucket loads.
Bucket loads.
That's from your Realtor of the Year, folks.
I prefer mine in truckloads, but I'll take a bucket. Right. It's crazy though. I mean, the market is. I mean, it's tight, low inventory, but there's still a lot of sales happening, and so and there's a lot of agents coming in, but agents are making a lot of money, and if they're working.
So what have we seen on average? I mean, I know you think it's a hot market, but 3,100 to 3,700 homes every single month consistently have been selling. So at the end of the year, that's going to be what, 40,000 homes again? And the year before that, 40,000 homes, and the year before that, 40,000.
That seems to be our numbers. About
Yeah, but the whole point is,
homes.
why is it some people are killing it, making sales and getting a market share, and others are not?
But it's, well, in every market, it's exactly the same.
Those that work at it make it. Those that don't work
Bucket
at
loads.
it
Bucket loads.
sort of screw up.
You're
you
right.
know?
I mean, if you're doing activities and you're working your base and you're consistent, you're going to do good business. And if you do that for a number of years, you're going to do residual business.
Right, and you can't sell real estate sitting on the couch watching Netflix.
Well, I don't know.
reruns
I have
and
Zoom.
Binging that.
That's how you got into the business.
well,
Weren't you an REO agent just sitting on your couch waiting for your emails?
And now
something
look,
like
Realtor
that.
of the Year.
Yeah, Realtor of
Imagine
the Year.
that.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. That is awesome.
how far I've come.
Other things going on in real estate, or at least at LVRs, we've got an RPAC Father's Day auction. Have you guys gone on and checked out the goods?
I did. I went on today and looked at a few of the items on there. And so a couple of people have asked, why is it that I'm paying $400 for a $100 gift card? And it's a pack requirement. I mean, you have to actually give money for something on top of it for us to be able to do that way. But it goes to an amazing investment in your business. It's not a donation. It's an investment. Yeah, because you think about it. If you make $100,000 a year in real estate and you want to continue to make that money to support your family and everything else, giving 1% of that income is nothing to keep people out of your pocket. So
Right. So if you're a Las Vegas Realtor member, you should have received an email with a link to the Father's Day auction, and you can
Anybody
go on and
else,
check out the
you're
stuff.
not eligible to do it. So
Right.
appreciate your donations and stuff.
But there's golf. There's golf. There's
Raiders.
gift
trip to
cards.
Costa Rica.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Huh?
there's no
Costa Rica for
return
a
trip,
week.
but there's a trip to it.
Yeah, you
just
can get
can't
there, you
back.
just can't get back.
That's another 1,000.
No, it's actually I donated the house to go, or the house to stay in down there,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And it does have you are returning. Nobody's staying.
It's like you got to get out.
Yeah, the first time I went down there, they drugged me back to the plane. So nobody stays.
So I think the important thing is, if for any reason you're struggling financially out there, but you're maintaining a good business, do anything. I mean, if $50, $100, your fair share. The whole thing we've always said, and it drives me crazy, if everyone gave $20, every single national member $20, none of us would have to ever give 1,000. We'd probably have to give 40 some year. I know that would happen, but and so it's an investment so you can earn your money.
Yeah, and it goes to do what?
Pays for the awards.
Pays for the.
It goes to protect legislatively private property rights and home ownership. We don't defend your right to be able to own a property. We defend your right to be able to utilize that property in a way that you want to.
Bill Oliver wants to know what the link is. Bill, go in your emails or go onto the LVR website and you'll be able to find it there.
It went out this morning at I think 7 o'clock.
It's a bit.ly link, so it's going to be weird.
Bitly.
It's going to be weird.
Yeah.
Bill, I'll forward it to you as well. So it goes to protect property rights, right?
And we just got through a legislative session that could have been brutal on us, right? They were coming at landlords and trying to protect tenants and make it so that they would never have to pay, never get evicted. And
I almost wanted to become a renter at that point. Yeah.
It was a little bit ridiculous, and the stuff that they were coming out with, you think was way too far progressive for Nevada to be able to continue being the great state it is. And therefore, we had to fight back and use the funds that we have collected to be able
Our
to
war chest.
Yeah, well, and by being able to help get the right people elected, those that have the same kind of concerns and understand the plight. Because let me tell you, you don't have to be the smartest person or the sharpest knife in the drawer to become
Realtor of the Year.
that too, or an assemblyman, right? Or to get elected, you just got to get enough
true.
votes.
That's true.
So they don't know everything about all things, and it's up to us to be able to educate those to let them know that.
Think about this. So the last session 2 years ago, We had every session we've been through, by the way, has been the most horrific. There's all these horrible things coming, all these taxes coming out, and somehow we keep making it through. And we have an amazing setup in support group and our lobbying team and our Nevada Realtor staff. But here's what happened this year that I think that I don't know if it's someone looking out for us somewhere else or what, but we were so upset at the end of the last session because of what happened with one bill and the way that it was like done in the darkness of night and the whole thing, that we went out of the box and we got a Realtor member specifically elected to the assembly to be a voice of reason on our issues. Now, this is pre-pandemic. We had no idea that any of this is coming, and we got one of our presidents, Haiti Kasama, to get in there. She fought the election. It was not an easy election. We went as far as we could to support her. I mean, really, members were out there campaigning for and doing what they could. She got in there, and if it hadn't have been for her in that session, the amount of taxes and private property rights issues that would have been overturned would have been astronomical. And so not just because of Haiti, but because of the entire setup, the entire thing, may have protected all realtors during this pandemic that we didn't know was coming.
Couldn't have thought of anyone better to be there, too.
Yeah.
She's a past guest on our podcast when she was actually running for assembly. Yeah. We probably ought to bring her back and see what she thinks now.
Have her do a debrief.
I didn't know that was going to happen.
Would you do that again? No, that was cool. And,
But that's why you invest, that reason,
And so, there's always at least a bill every year that we kind of freak out about. And this year, the one I've heard is Assembly Bill 486.
Yeah.
They have rhymable names, by the way, every time.
AB 284.
Yeah.
When we first started doing the podcast years and years ago, that was the big thing. Yeah. So
that's what got me involved.
Yeah, and every time we actually had you on the podcast back then too. We had a whole cast of characters.
Yep.
Noah and Steve and Keith, and we were all just talking about. And every time we'd show up to the podcast, anyone was running late, we'd say, "Damn, 284." Got me at the lights again. So
yeah, no.
But so this one, 486.
The 486 was one. Look, there had to be some way for the legislatures to come out with a program to be able to efficiently provide some kind of rebate, or not rebates, but repayment, assistance, whatever, however you want to call it, to the landlords, right? I mean,
okay, so this kind of goes towards the eviction moratorium that's national one's basically lifted, right?
Yep.
And so now there's this opportunity, so to speak, that there's going to be these mass evictions. And this is the state basically saying, well, wait a minute, but we're not just going to keep the people in here. We're going to have an opportunity for you guys to...
They wanted to lay out a way for the tenants to be able to apply for assistance, be able to get that assistance if they qualify for it, and not have them get kicked out.
But they already had those programs, tenant assistance programs, that required that the tenant could just go and get support from, right? There were a number of those. What wasn't there was landlord support, right? So you had all these tenants that could go out and apply for things. There was opportunity there. There was the moratorium to protect their health and keeping them in the home because of all the reasons we know that are out there. And so a number of states, and by the way, Tom and I are on that legislative management team that sat and reviewed these. Yeah. And so we've heard this ad nauseum from different groups. But the idea was that, California, Oregon, Washington, multiple other states, they've all come out with programs with $20 million, $30 million, $50 million in support where a tenant could apply to get money to help pay back the rents that they owe. But the catch is that if I do that as the tenant and I'm helping you out, Mr. Owner, you can't take the money and then evict me because, that's all the money I had. Right. And so you've heard that saying that the path to hell is filled with good intentions, right? Mm-hmm. This was our path to hell in this session, and it was because the good intention piece of it was that I can't evict them and I have to work out a new arrangement. And so that meant that that's going to cause some problems. Now, how much was it? $5 million?
Yeah, they funded this with $5 million.
Well, you just said the other states 30, 40, 50 million.
One of them $100 million. $5 million will go in a month.
Yeah, I mean, that's way underfunded. And the nice thing about this bill, which will become law pretty soon as the governor signs it, is that should it be a lousy bill and it just blows up,
it sunsets.
It sunsets when the money runs out.
Yeah. which will be very quickly.
Right? Or they can, if it's a good thing, they can
Then they can
refund
fund it.
Exactly, yeah.
with more COVID dollars and, make it worthwhile. But we have mediation for that. The stay on the eviction will only be a maximum of 30 days
Yep.
for them to get their stuff together and prove up everything. And if they can't do it within the 30 days, then the judge has the ability to grant the eviction. So, yeah, it's not, you can evict right now. It's going to be a slow rollout, but you have the, look, landlords right now, this is the thing to take
Don't
away.
get hot on me with your market and your shirt.
Right. Landlords have the ability right now with this bill to be able to apply themselves for the repayment of what is due to them for the rents that have not been paid.
But let's talk about why everyone's upset about it. The reason why is that it provides a safe harbor for another extension for a tenant. If they go and apply for the funds and they can show that, you can't evict because they're going to get help and support.
Well, at least you're getting the funds.
Well, yeah, and again, listen, there are some parameters you can't evict under. I'm not giving you a legal opinion. I'm just telling you what we know will happen is someone will apply, and the owner isn't going to get a dime. The money's already run out by the time it's happening, but they don't know that. And if you saw how Dieter worked during this whole thing, people applying for unemployment, I mean, it was a catastrophe, right? And that was hundreds of millions of dollars that were set aside, and this is $5 million. And so and we haven't seen mass problems, and I think that was the other misnomer. Yep. We were thinking, 80,000 tenants?
Yeah, there was some stupid number.
We're not seeing that.
No.
And we're seeing most people are talking and working out scenarios and solutions, so that's been a good thing. But if you have that one tenant that figures out how to use it to their advantage, they could use it to hold off an eviction, and that's what people are concerned about.
For 30 days. 30 days.
But that's another 30 days.
Yes, it's another 30 days on another 30 days.
It's never just 30 days, though.
But it's supposed to be 30 days.
And you can't get in what you heard Dave Sanders say the other day, that they're having problems even get hearings for things, right? Of course, eviction court is different than criminal or justice court or any of those. But
we've been able to evict people through the eviction moratorium, even on non-payment of rent.
Yep.
But it depends on certain scenarios.
But also the other thing that is in there is that if you have sold your home and have a tenant in there that's month to month and they don't move out, you can evict for that purpose of the fact that you sold the home. So all those folks that were worried that my tenant's never going to move out.
You basically put down here the types of evictions it covers is just for non-payment of rent.
Yep.
I mean, there's still other scenarios.
Absolutely.
Correct, but it was specifically
Nuisance,
in the
public
bill
nuisance, all
is
those
for
things.
sale.
So
The home is
it
sold.
covers
It says
that.
in there that you can evict if the home's been sold.
If their lease is up and they're
Yep.
on a month-to-month.
Correct.
Yeah. You can't just...
No, the
Kick
lease
them out.
always continues on.
And we've gotten that question. I don't really like this tenant. Can I just evict? No, you can't.
You can try. All right. So, what other notes you have down on here? You put down some bullet points. Let's
Yeah,
make sure you
I did.
cover them all.
How it helps the tenants. They have to apply. Applying for rental assistance, you can't just wait for someone to get the eviction notice and then say, "Oh, I've applied." You need to have applied prior to the eviction.
Yes.
You have to have an application for rental assistance and have submitted it in good faith prior to going to court.
And the forms and stuff are already out.
Yep.
on
As a
this.
matter of fact, when you get the
we're already applying for it.
Yeah.
Like we've already got some of our tenants that are applying
So
for
when
it.
you do the 7-day notice now, that you'll see a new little verbiage in there that tells them where to go to get that stuff so they can get ahead of the game during that 7-day notice, and they have to act. If the tenants are still non-responsive and they're still not doing the things that they need to do, then you're going to end up being able to evict them. Now the judge is going to be the judge, and judges are historically.
I'll be the judge of that.
Well, the judges are historically a little bit more lenient than some people would like, especially after a year and a half of not collecting any rent. And you're going, well, Judge, you were given another 30 days. What the heck? But we have to have some kind of kindness. And we've been kind enough. As soon as I said that, I could hear all the people on the other end of this thing.
No,
going, we've been kind enough already.
No, I don't think. I don't think a lot of people are against working and helping these tenants, and nobody really wanted to put people out on the street.
They just want to get paid.
But yeah, they want to get
Well, I
paid.
don't want to lose my house. I don't.
Right.
I don't want to be the owner, and no one bought an investment to lose money on it. And if you can't pay your own bills because you're paying that, I can understand the frustration.
And the real frustration comes from people taking advantage of the situation.
Absolutely, always.
We've actually had people request us to fill out documents for them to get assistance when
They don't really need
they
it.
have a job, they're paying their rent and everything else. They just want the free money, and that gets frustrating too. 'cause
Hey,
you can't help
if they
the right
don't get
people.
it, someone else will.
Somebody that needs it, maybe.
Yeah.
So
So we've already gone through the fact that it's been funded with $5 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's not enough, but if it's a program that does work, then they said that they have more money if need be.
Yeah, another $2 million for sure.
To stay up to 30 days. And the people that are going to be handling this were the same people that were handling the foreclosure stuff, and that's Home Means Nevada program, are the ones that are going to be the ones that you need to contact
So that
to get your money.
the point at the end of the day is that this could have been so much worse.
Oh.
And it could have been
It's
something that we
horrible.
didn't get involved on.
something we couldn't have lived with.
Yeah, and it could have been something where they shoved it down our throat and said, you're going to take this, but they didn't do that. And it's because of the legislative powerhouse that we've built and because of our lobbying team. They came to us on a number of the items that we worked through and tried to make something that at least is palatable, I think is the word you kept using, that we could work through and understand. Because the other thing is, this is how the bill's written. So, the bill versus how it's actually put into process and how it's regulated is the problem. And so I think that for what we have, it will do some good. It'll create some headaches, but at the end of the day, we survived probably what could have been the worst session ever. And this is the worst thing that came out of it. That's a testament to the group that was fighting for it.
Yeah, and to let everybody know, this bill originally came with a 75% repayment of back rent versus what we finally got in the final version, which was 100% of what was owed to the
Nice.
landlord. So, it's a horse. You hear it, right? Politics, the horse trading. The bill comes out like this. There's a scare
allergic to
tactics
horses.
over there, and through all the rigmarole, you end up negotiating to a bill that I don't like it. They don't like it.
That's when you know it's
That's
a good bill.
goddamn good bill.
Hey, watch your mouth.
Yeah.
Hey, but so we donate to our PAC. We have our political action. We have our lobbyists. We get involved in the politics, that kind of stuff. But another big reason why they listen to realtors is we vote.
Yes.
We get out and vote, and that's
well,
important.
some of us do. And I think that's the
A
other
good
problem.
percentage, right?
85%.
Remember, I'm sorry to make this analogy, but this is what resonates in my head, right? You look at groups like the Teamsters or the culinary unions, and you think about voting. They vote busloads of people down to the votes, and they listen to what it is. I think the difference between what we do, we're a trade group. And I think that the difference, we're small business owners that make large dollar incomes that affect a lot of the economy.
Yeah.
And we have a big diverse set of people. I mean, we have both sides of the aisle. We have Republicans and Democrats. And so what really is our power is that it doesn't matter which house you hide in, right? No pun intended. We have the ability to affect everybody at the legislature. And I think that, when we don't stick our nose where it doesn't belong. We don't look at roads and things like that. We focus directly on private property rights
Real
and things that
estate
affect
related.
our industry. And I think that's what makes us powerful in it. And 16 years ago, 20 years ago, this didn't exist. And so this is the investment of all of those that have been part of it and come before us and did that whole piece. That's why it's now working and supporting the industry. And so if you're voting and investing in RPAC, you're going to help the entire industry be better.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Any other bills that you are happy that died?
$100 bills.
Well,
Any good stories?
$100
$100 bills. Spend those like candy.
We had some great success stories of bills. I just can't think of all of them right now.
I mean, there was the one for Airbnb that everybody's, going, oh my goodness, they're regulating Airbnb. Well, it needed to be regulated. All those homes in Clark County.
Oh, technology fee bill.
Oh, there you go.
This is funny because we actually voted to add a tax or a fee to our industry, but for the right reason. So you've made the analogy many times that in the state of Utah, a broker or a agent or a licensee can do pretty much every single piece of their interaction online. And I mean, it's not hard. It's simplicity by signing or processing a document or paying for it. And our real estate division was in the Stone Age. Like, you can't even take paper down there and have a good experience, right? And the people down there are lovely. They've gotten really nice and customer service driven, and that's been great.
But it's not
still
their
a pain.
fault.
No,
Right.
we're flooding them with new members and licensees like crazy. And so we added a technology fee that we're in support of so that we don't have to struggle to process documents anymore. And so Sharath the real estate administrator, has an amazing plan of how to take those funds that now that it's labeled a technology fee for them, will stay with them.
So it doesn't go in because
doesn't go in the general
Yeah, they're
bucket.
funded by the general fund. So no
They
matter
are.
how much more money they come in, they still only get
Yeah.
the same amount.
Correct.
That's why I said it wasn't their fault. They were in the Stone Age because they didn't really have the money
Sure.
Right.
budgeted to be able to put
And
that stuff towards
We
it. So-
tried to self-fund them this year in the legislature, and the bill failed, which would have been perfect because that means the $6 million we generate would have stayed with our real estate division instead of the $3 million we get. But this technology fee, I think that
It stays with us.
the whole thing stays with us, but I think he was planning on like $300,000 in upgrades per year for a series of years just from this fee. And I think that that's something I can look at every member and say, hey, listen, would you rather we pay this fee, or would you rather that you have to run back and forth every time you need to update your CE or your license or your name change or whatever? Now you can do it all probably
Do it
online
online.
within a few years.
That'd be good.
And the legislature decided they would front load it so that we can get the stuff that we need done
And pay it
quickly,
back?
and then and be able to pay
So
it back.
what is that technology fee? And would you pay it with your license?
Yeah, so it's on a new licensee that comes in. I don't remember the amount. $15.
$15.
Yeah.
Every 2 years.
Yeah.
So when you get a
process any
new
of
license
those
plus
things.
when you
Yep.
renew.
Renew.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Right. Well,
And I'll be honest with you, and I don't mind saying this publicly. We're very proper about what we say publicly because we have a lot of legislators and things that worked on this. But
Sure.
I was a proponent of adding on fees to brand new agents because it's a relatively inexpensive business to start up, right? And a lot of the problems are not really caused by the new agents, but caused by the influx of brand new people jumping into the industry. And so I kind of felt personally, after the years of what I've seen and being a Hall of Fame member, that adding a small fee on their sign up because they're ready for it, they're in that process, wasn't horrible versus adding that fee onto a residual agent who's been paying it for years and years and years. Seemed to make a little bit more sense in my brain. I don't know, you guys feel differently?
no, I see that, but I also see the fact that who's going to actually really benefit from it is the agents that are doing it all the time. Because really, when you look at through the pandemic,
Yep.
the way the division operated it changed. They closed the doors, right? So everything had to be done through the mail. And I know the north end of the state's been doing that
Forever.
Forever.
They
They didn't have a choice.
They
right?
have no offices.
But
in
we
there.
we down here have not, and so that delay that created and the headache it created through that process wasn't very fun to go through.
No, it's painful.
Because there's certain
That's a pain
documents
point.
that you need a receipt
Yeah.
from the division, be able to change the board membership to your new brokerage. So it slowed a lot of things down.
It's a continuous headache because if it's not done right, they mail it back to you,
Right.
And then they tell you did it wrong, and then they ask you to mail it back. And I mean, right.
So
Horrible.
if it was done the other way, it would have been a lot easier through that
Yep.
system, and it would have been almost smooth.
Yep, for sure.
But yeah, I do. I don't mind going to the division. In the past, it used to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
But it.
I
cleaned
remember
up,
going
it's
down
nice.
there one time when it was in the old location, the Grant Sawyer building down there. And I remember going in, and this time it was right before I became president of the Las Vegas board. And I had a lady yell at me, and I'm sorry, I'm in my 30s. And the only lady that's going to yell at me is maybe my wife and probably my mother, right? And I was upset. I went upstairs and talked to
I've
the
seen a
administrator.
lot of people leave
because
there
It was
crying.
nasty.
Yeah.
Absolutely nasty. And so I want to say that I give him a lot of props because the
Experience.
they
has
came in and
changed.
completely changed the dynamic in
Yeah.
the way that they support the licensees that are there.
I'll tell you, my favorite person down there was Melanie, and she's no longer there. She actually works at the board now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was there, and I'm like, "What are you doing here?"
You know what
So it's
people
cool. She's
people
pretty neat.
forget that the Board of Realtors has almost 15.5 now realtor members. The state association has about 18.6, but there's 30,000 licensees. So only half of those, or 2/3 of them, are actual realtor members. And so there's all these other timeshare agents and people, developers and licensee holders that are also going through it. And so that fee applies to them as well.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
another fun bill or no? That's it.
That's it.
We
No, I mean, that's. I mean, we could get into but we don't need to.
all right. Well, let's do something fun then. Let's
Yeah,
talk.
let's do something.
Let's
fun.
talk about celebrities in Vegas. So we were down at the Four Seasons.
We were.
And
Did you
Stifler's
guys-
dad was there.
So, not Stifler's dad, it's Jim's dad. Eugene Levy.
Well, Stifler from American Pie.
No, Stifler
Oh,
was the guy's
Jim, that's right,
house
you're
they
right.
went to. Jim was the pie guy, you know.
It sounds better the other way.
But, you know, Eugene Levy's known for his very bushy eyebrows. I didn't even think about Schitt's Creek that he's on now. That's what everyone's talking about.
Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek.
Not
What
shits. Shits.
Shitts.
No.
Schitts.
Yeah, shits.
Shits.
Not shits. Shits.
Either way, there's crap in a creek. Okay, I don't know what to tell you. But
It's a crummy old motel.
we're down there, and he's sitting at the bar, you know, in the middle of the Four Seasons, and another party group in our party saw a group of the cast members, and so it kind of made me think of, you know, living in Vegas, everyone comes to Vegas, and a lot of the times we see celebrities, and so I would kind of, you know, that was the first one I've seen in a while since the pandemic. But who have you seen in Vegas?
So it's funny. Every time we walk into a place, you like immediately do like facial recognition scan of the whole place, and you know everybody that's in there. I know that person, whoever. And me, I'm like, I didn't see him, and I didn't see him. He was at the bar, and I don't know how you missed his eyebrows, but I missed him, right? But I one time came down. I was at the Hard Rock, and this was before I moved here, though. Dee Snider from Twisted Sister.
Yeah.
So, and I loved Twisted Sister growing up. I don't know why. The hairband, whatever.
Yeah, you're a little twisted.
I'm a little, and I had a sister. But no, it was fun. I had a real short friend in
Short friend.
yeah, a dwarf friend, Joe, and Joe loved him too. And so he comes up and he goes, "Hey, can you get a picture with me and my twin brother?" And Dee's like, "Yeah," and he waves me over and he's like, "Wait a minute." So that was funny.
We went out to drinks a month or so ago, or 2 months ago,
At Gene?
and again, I do scan the audience, and I said, "Oh, that's the gal from Taxi," and you actually knew the group that she was sitting with.
Yeah, I
she
know
even took a
some-
picture with you.
Yeah, I know some people.
Wow, I was.
What was her
Mary
name?
Lou Renner.
Yep.
Mary Lou Renner. And then also Gene Simmons has been hanging out at Bella Vita down in Green Valley.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
That's right by our other office.
Yeah, he bought some.
He spends
About
more
a $10
time
million
drinking wine.
home here.
Yeah, he's
$10
bought some
million.
property. He's moved out here, so it'll be fun to see Gene Simmons out and about in Las Vegas. Welcome, Mr.
I've seen
Kiss.
some UFC fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, how do you miss those guys?
We've seen Carrot Top pretty much at Grape Street every time we've been there.
O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson is always there.
Yeah.
Mary Lou Renner, did you know that she has a photographic memory, I believe, and she can tell you any day if you give her a date and time, what day of the week it was, the whole thing. They did a documentary about her and another couple celebrities that have this skill.
She'll never forget me then, huh?
I guess not.
Good.
My
No.
best ever. Remember when Dodgeball came out, the movie Dodgeball
Yeah.
with Ben Stiller and Vince Vaughn? I was down at the Bellagio with some friends, and I was standing in the chip cashing line to cash out some chips I had. I was playing blackjack at a table next to Vince Vaughn, which was kind of cool. And he wasn't betting crazy. It was like $20 a hand kind of thing. And I'm looking at the cashier, and I turn around, and there's a guy behind me, kind of salty hair, holding his jacket. And we just start talking, and he's like, "Hey, have any luck tonight?" I'm like, "No, it's been a good night," kind of thing. And he goes, "Oh, you from Vegas?" I said, "Yeah, I'm born and raised here." You? He goes, "No, I'm not from Vegas." And we're talking back and forth, and I kind of finally realized it's Ben Stiller. And we're just talking, you know? And I didn't recognize him because his hair wasn't dyed. I guess sometimes in the movies he dyes it, especially in that movie. And I turned back around, and my buddy who was in front of me goes, "That's Ben Stiller." I said, "I know it, and he can hear us," you know? And then we turn around and we walk back into to the lounge that we were in, and this guy hits me in the arm like he's walking out a crowded place. And I look up, and it's Vince Vaughn. So, you know, without me, Dodgeball wouldn't have been the success it was because I saw both of them.
And that's where they got the line, "If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball." They were throwing wrenches at Chris to keep him away.
But that was the two biggest celebrities I think I've ever. I mean, Wayne Newton, of course, I've seen all my life growing up here in town, and a number of different singers, I guess. But I wouldn't know many sports people if I ran into them.
You know, it's amazing that all these celebrities are just like real people.
No kidding, huh?
Just walking around, talking.
That's what you're gonna say about me
going to
someday.
the grocery store, those that don't have their stuff delivered, but they're just normal folk.
I mean, I'm sitting here with Realtor of the Year, and he's
Just
normal folk.
Just normal folk.
Well, I don't know if he's quite normal yet, but
Is there anyone listening to us?
No.
please. How about you? Famous. You run into people all the time.
Yeah, you had to have saved someone's life in one of those ambulances you were driving.
Yeah, you were on Cops.
Oh, yeah.
You might not recognize him. He had a mustache back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Tom Selk.
What you gonna do when Tom comes for you?
No.
Who's the most famous person you gave mouth-to-mouth to?
Ginger Lynn.
Ginger
From
Lynn.
Gilligan's Island?
No.
Isn't she a porn star or something? Okay. I just knew with the name and then Tom. I just put them together. It wasn't that hard.
Wasn't that hard?
Ginger Lynn. That's probably and I was, younger. I was 22.
Did she need
23.
mouth-to-mouth, or you just gave it to her?
No, but it was fun.
It was fun.
Saved her life.
It was an experience.
So
How's that?
we saw a basketball player last night, though, too. Who was that? Dakari Johnson?
Dakari Johnson.
And you talked to him, though. That was the better part.
Really?
Yeah, I went up there. Well, I didn't know who he was, but Beta told me, and so then Beta pulls him up on his phone. So I've got his ESPN stats
That's
sports
stalkerish.
card. So I just walk up and I just tap him on the shoulder and go, and he goes, "Yeah, that's me." No, he was
got
cool
me.
though. He was cool. So
I've seen people at golf courses and things like that, like celebrity golfers and, been around people that were there. Best one I've seen is when George Bush Sr. and Bill Clinton were at the NAR event. I was like in the front row with the group, and being that close to two presidents was kind of cool. I mean, not kinky, but cool.
I went to a dinner with George Bush.
Senior? Did he know?
yeah, you
still
see
have
the
plans.
picture on his wall.
He does. He has it on his
Yeah,
wall.
I think he photoshopped him in, but it's
He kept the napkin.
kept the napkin. So, who's the most famous person you've seen, even outside of Vegas?
Wow. You mean like in what context? Just like
just-
seeing them on TV?
So
or
I saw Tom Hanks
Tom Hanks in person?
in person in Park City.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, for Sundance Film Festival. He was walking down the other side of the street.
Wow.
So that's probably the most.
Why was he on the other side of the street and you weren't?
Because he was going the other direction.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Up there, you
Did
can
he
only
see
go,
you and cross over? I
No,
mean, I want to
you can
understand
only
the
go
context.
one way on
Because
each
the
side
bar
of the
I was
street.
going into was on this side of the street.
Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah,
Jimmy Buffett.
I've seen him in concert.
I-
Does that
well,
count?
I was in Margaritaville in Key West, and
In Margaritaville?
and
Oh, the bar.
The bar.
Oh.
And I walked in and walking out, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't know it was Jimmy Buffett. And my brother, who was behind me, said, "That's Jimmy Buffett." And he comes in here. It's his bar. He comes in here all the time. And I'm like, "Oh, cool."
You didn't even know it was
I
Ben
had
Stiller.
no idea.
Yeah, no.
Steve Buscemi. I flew to Costa Rica with him.
Oh.
Not with him, but on the same plane.
I've seen a lot of congressional, like senators or Congress people that, we do that every year. We go and meet them, shake hands, take photos, the whole thing. And so I was on a plane and actually sitting next to Wolf Blitzer. It was kind of weird.
Was he giving you the report?
No, it just, you look at his face and you're like, I know this guy from somewhere, and I couldn't place it. And then oh yeah, he's
The
the
other news
Yeah.
agency.
The other
the
news
other
agency.
Yeah.
news agency.
Well, that was a real winner. Famous people.
Yeah, you didn't know. You didn't
I
name
don't
any.
know.
of them.
Look, I live a very sheltered, quiet life.
You're so full of crap.
You know.
You're crap. Yeah.
You're crap.
Weren't you on Cops with Steve Sisolak or something? What did you tell me?
No, the next governor, Joe Lombardo.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
There you go. The next governor. You heard it here first.
Well, it's going to be some interesting races this
Yeah?
year.
Oh, you wanna get
because-
into that one?
No, I don't want to get into that one.
Let's
But
get into that.
I just want to think about the fact that a lot of these congressional leaders or assembly, state senate, they're out usually talking and knocking on doors and meeting people. And so with the pandemic and everyone kind of taking a step back from the whole thing, it'll be interesting to see. More ads on TV, hopefully not.
There will be a lot more.
Well,
I did find out something last night
Oh.
after the
Great
event.
Award- the
when
Great
you guys
Award
went
show?
to your big dinners, that little
I had
guys
a
like me
small-
weren't
no,
invited
We
to.
had a nice little small dinner.
Anyway,
Yes.
I was sitting down there and spent some time with Randy Hatada.
Oh, Randy, he's a
Yeah,
cool
he's
guy.
pretty funny when he drinks a
Yeah.
little bit. He turns into a different person, kind of like me. It's
Yeah.
like Dr. Jekyll and Stride. But anyway, I found out he listens to our show.
No kidding.
Yeah, and he's very upset with me because I was really down on the Knights and basically saying we don't have a superstar. And what I meant was we don't have a McKinnon or somebody to take over the game.
I mean, you need a hero.
Yeah, so we're trying to get him on the trying to get him on the show for next week, right? And it'll be an interesting show because the Knights have a big game tonight. If they don't win this, they're not going to win the next one, and so they'll have been swept. So I'll have some footing to really argue with Randy about. But if they come back, then I'll look like the clown. But
I was talking with him because if you watch Randy's Facebook at all, and I see a lot of people's Facebook stuff that comes through my feed, and he's really big on fishing with his son. I mean, they share that together. And I was telling him, when I was a kid, my father had this saying. It was like, don't let your schooling interfere with your education, meaning that just because you're doing good in school and the whole thing, you got to go out in life and get all the value and benefits of life. And so my father would show up at my school about once every 4 or 5 months during a school day. He literally would drop me off, go back home, and about 40 minutes later come back and pick me up and take me fishing. And it was one of those fun things of like, hey, I know you thought you were going to be in school all day, but guess what? We're going fishing. And it was always something that him and I shared. And I told Randy, I lost my dad back in 2006, and I said, that time you spend with your son out there fishing and enjoying that, they'll remember it for forever. But some days it's just good to go fishing.
yeah, he was shocked I had a 25-year-old. I think he kept, he was trying to talk Tyson out of it. He's not your real dad. He says you guys look a lot alike, but one of you is a lot more weathered. I said, don't worry, Tyson.
Good old Randy.
Yeah, so that was good. So, let's see. Like I allotted for about 15 extra minutes of you guys just rambling.
I tried, and he kept interrupting me.
Huh?
I interrupted you?
Yeah, you do it all the time.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Just because you win an award and shit.
Realtor of the Year?
I heard.
Realtor of the Year. Speaking of the mic.
Let's talk about the video. Did you? So we didn't get to tell you about our experience with the video. So the board of realtors called us up, and that was the day I found out that you had actually won it. So it was a sad day for me for a little while. But they said, hey, we need someone to do some video content for Tom because we want to play this video, the whole thing. And so it just so happened that Brandon, myself, and Janet all went to the Green Valley office to film it, so you didn't know. And you know how Janet is about, she doesn't just tell a quick story, she tells the entire story. And so we kind of, we know you and we joke with you, and we wanted to make it fun so that you'd enjoy it. And so it was kind of hard.
It was actually kind of hard to be nice.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No, but at the end of it, me and Chris were like, were we too mean?
They cut it nicely, though.
They did.
They cut out all the bad stuff.
So for those of you that haven't seen it yet, I decided to do some outtakes, like at our board, like you can do that. You can change a policy and win an award, just to give you some crap, as I have done anyway. And they took all of my outtakes and spliced them in while Janet and Brandon are talking. And it came out really well. And then we got mushy at the end and said that we really do like you and we enjoy hanging out with you. And
yeah, they spliced us in with Janet telling the story. It was cool.
Yeah, it was really good.
No, it was really good. Brad Spires liked it. He wants a copy of it. So
just for fun.
But it was fun.
Did you? Many people don't know this, but Brad's wife actually was out golfing 6-7 years ago and came down with West Nile virus. And it's been a horrific thing that they've been dealing with, and she started a recovery from it. And she got her shot, her virus shot.
The COVID
and it
vaccine?
completely took away
Cured
her symptoms.
Yeah.
And so that was the most incredible story I've heard about, you hear all this negativity and all the horrible things that are happening from shots and stuff like that. That was pretty amazing.
And it didn't make the news.
It didn't make the news, nothing. And I don't know which shot she got or any of that, but just the fact that I know a couple of people that have gotten West Nile virus. And the reason why they said it's different is there was never any funding because it was such a small group of people that they couldn't find any cures or shots or anything for it. Now because
there's no money behind it.
Yeah, now because of the pandemic, they have.
And
crazy to think about.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. That's a good success story for the vaccine.
Yeah.
Yep. What else you got?
I don't know, man. Where should we take Vonnena's award?
Just different places.
Where should it go next?
Remember when Lynham had
Beta's got some ideas for the weekend.
Lynham had his...
I think we're going to take it swimming.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Take it to the lake.
Drop it in.
Hope you don't drop it in the lake.
It's not made of glass, so...
It's going down to the Crazy Horse Toogie. You remember when Lynham had his roast? And they had the cushions, the seat cushions.
It's funny. I told Tyson about that last night, and he came in. You told him the same thing. I was like, catchy.
It's pretty good.
The big seat cushions with his
People
face
took
on
him
it.
everywhere and took photos with him and
They're
stuff.
down to Caesars.
Same
and-
thing with Vanana's
yeah,
award.
It was fun.
It's going to be well traveled by the time Vonnegut gets back.
So, are you going to do a roast this year? Because I think you got roasted last night.
No,
Yeah.
I would love to do a roast. To
He likes it.
Increase the funds for our PAC, and whether it's sometime this year. I mean, it's been sort of hard, right? We were trying to figure out how to do it with COVID, but now that COVID's gone, now to find the time to do it where everybody can show up, I'm all for it. I think it'll be.
You're a good sport. I
it'll be
probably
fun.
would cry.
You are a good sport.
It'll be fun.
They used to have the bachelor auction that was like going to something similar to a roast, and that was always kind of fun. And then it turned to a VA rep thing that they would do that at, and when all those events went away. But roasts are great when you have a good group of people that aren't dirty but know how to have fun with things. And
Yep.
You're definitely that person.
What,
Dirty and fun.
Dirty and fun, or not dirty and fun? I'm not sure.
I'm not
But
sure
it's-
either.
It'll be. Yeah, I want to do it because it's for a good cause, and I think everybody that would watch it and come to it would have a really good time, because I'm sure we can get away with a lot of good stuff.
They'd remember it for
talking.
sure.
Yeah.
I think people are going to remember last night for sure.
I had fun. I
know you
had
did.
fun. I hope everybody else did. I tried to make it as entertaining as possible.
I'm just impressed both of you showed up early this morning.
Hey, I'm here.
Well, you were a little later than normal, but you were still here.
I wasn't that late though, like maybe 10 minutes. And the funny thing is, I was coming from downtown from
Which
the
is
Mandalay.
closer.
Yeah, but
it took you longer to get here.
I'll be honest, it was nice to stay at a hotel, but I realized the fact that why I don't stay at hotels. We were in this room, and a beautiful room, but the AC didn't work really well. And so, I mean, what you do when you get to a hotel room, you take the AC and you turn it down as far as you can because it ain't yours. And I got paid back for all of those times I did that, and it was just hot. Yeah.
Kind of like the market.
Yep.
Because they knew that you would turn it all the way down, so it doesn't register
I did the
anymore.
1 degree thing because I knew that obviously turning it all the way down ain't going to work. So I turned it down 1 degree to hope that it would happen, and it didn't.
You just didn't.
Nope.
No.
All right, so let's do this. Let's
what-
talk about your favorite simple childish joke. Come on.
I don't-
one,
I
you,
don't-
one you would tell your kids or
I
your grandkids.
don't have one, but Chris
I
does.
sure do. I heard this the other day, and it just sent. You know how you have that one joke, and it just you crack up. Well, you told me this joke the other day, and I cracked up for about 20 minutes. You want to hear it, Tom?
Here it
Please,
goes.
Tell me, what's the joke?
Tom, did you know I have 3 knees?
No, how did you don't have 3 knees?
Yeah, left knee, right knee, and wee knee. That's where I lost it. I had to.
Oh, he
go to
wasn't
my
there
office.
when we said it, was he? It was funny. Then,
I don't know why it's so funny.
because it is.
The polar bear one was good too.
Yeah. So, how do you catch a polar bear?
I have no idea. How do you catch a polar bear?
You cut a hole in the ice,
Uh-huh.
right? And then you take peas and you put little peas around the ice.
Okay.
And when the polar bear goes up to take a pee, you kick him in the ice hole.
And I had to go home after that one.
Holy
You have to have one, Tom.
I don't know. I don't. I got nothing.
You got
I'm
nothing?
dead serious. I got no jokes.
I told my daughters on Ellie's show that he had, what'd the fish say when it hit a wall?
Ouch.
Damn.
It's a damn. Oh my goodness! Oh my gosh! Hopefully, you guys all think it's as funny as we do, because it's
We're
pretty.
not
hilarious.
even drinking. That's the best
That's
part.
the problem.
We're delirious and tired from last night.
I guess.
It was a long night. It was a fun night. It was a long night. And again, congratulations for your Hall of Fame. At what age? 23?
Huh?
How old are you now?
No, I'll be 38 in
23.
October.
38?
38 in October, yeah. I'm one of the Hallest. I'm not one of the Hallest.
You're one of the.
I'm one of the
definitely-
youngest Hall of Fame members ever.
Are you the youngest state president ever
Yeah. So far.
so far?
I think there are
Well,
a few people that could actually, if they decided to do it. Sabrina Bellici is a great example. If she ended up running, so I was state president when I was 37. Yeah, 36, I guess technically.
36,
I
37.
got installed when I was 36. She's only in her mid 20s, and she's already been local president, so she could run and beat my record. But I don't know that I'm the youngest, to be honest with you.
in the country.
Mark Masivic was pretty young when he was state president. I believe that he was state president. There are a few people that have been on the list, but their photos look so old.
They still look old
because they didn't have color in some of the photos when they took them originally.
Oh, that was funny last night. Some of the photos that were put up to
Keith Lynham's photo. That's not his current photo.
No, obviously he parts his hair a little more to the left now. We're in the middle. In the middle. It used to be on the
He
left.
gets so mad too when people put those up there because he's like, I have a new photo, and he does have a new one. It's just
Where
they-
does
It
the
hasn't made
board
the
get
rounds
him?
yet.
I don't know. And then the weirdest part is when you have something like that, they ask you for a photo,
And
so
they
you
always-
give them one,
and they
then
always use the old-
someone that. Oh well.
Very good. So Beta, I know we missed stats and I know we missed the interest rates, but
We got to talk about this though.
What?
Signature Real Estate Group participated as the buyer's representative.
hold on though. I'm going to ask you a question because in stats we usually do what's the highest and what's the lowest
Yes.
sale, and won't be able to look to document it, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty accurate. So give me the price of the highest sale this past week.
No, $16,250,000.
Yes.
Yeah,
And who was the agent that sold it?
Jay,
From
Green Valley.
Signature.
Yeah.
Signature Real Estate Group.
Yeah.
Yeah. Highest. Todd said it was the highest high rise ever sold in Vegas.
So he said it's the highest high rise, and it
Well,
must
it's
be
one flat. I mean, it's one.
It's a penthouse. It's the
Yeah.
penthouse at the
the Martin.
Martin. It's the highest resale
Resale.
comp, I believe, because I know I'm just thinking in my brain. I remember that there were a few brand new when Trump was brand new, and when Queensridge
One
Tower.
Queens Plate, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where I would have thought it would have been.
I thought that had a $22 million penthouse that was sold brand new, and so I think the stat is resale. But
Resale.
they were the buyers rep on it, and I think they said it was all cash, of course, and a suitcase.
And they came into town and didn't even stay in the condo.
Yeah, that's funny. They stayed down at the Bellagio or someplace.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
instead.
So in a few weeks, you're going to have them on our sales meeting.
So I'm gonna see if we could come on and learn a little bit more about just the how it all came together.
How do you find that
and-
buyer?
Well, not only that, but the process you went through after you found the buyer.
How was it working with all those attorneys?
Yeah, no kidding, right?
You know. I mean,
Do you get to use it when they're not in town?
Yeah.
Was there a lease back? How did the walkthrough
There
go?
were things that we all want to know. And like,
Did the dishwasher not work and you had to give up $1 million? I want to know.
Did they put in a home warranty? Or
And where do the servants stay? Right? Where are the servants going to stay? That they're going to actually you have to have those kinds of help.
Where do you keep your servants? Where do they
House
stay?
down the street.
The house down the street. Motorhome in the back.
Yeah.
But-
His second family.
all right. So we got the stats. That was the gist of it. We missed the interest rates. They're probably stable.
They haven't
Maybe up a
moved.
little
They're-
bit.
Yeah, no, they're about the same.
Yeah. Shelly will
Status
be back.
quo.
Shelly will be back in a few weeks. We'll catch up on those. What else? Did we miss anything else?
Mr. Producer.
Did we ask you that? You guys have both been on the show before.
Yeah,
What?
we've answered that before.
What?
I don't
What-
know that
what
he's
your-
answered it for his car.
What was the first car you ever owned?
Monte Carlo.
No
Yeah,
kidding?
He answered it.
What color?
Brown.
Oh,
With the Landau roof and the rich Corinthian leather.
Same one he has
Landau
out in the
roof.
parking lot.
What's Landau roof?
It was half
It's like a fake.
soft, yeah. It's hard top with the soft covering.
Oh,
in
the soft
back.
leather?
Yeah, in the
That
back.
comes off after a certain point
Yeah,
and just
that's-
flaps
yeah,
around as you
yeah.
drive down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you a funny story to end this with. So when I was a kid, my father had a weird sense of humor. But you did something at your own risk when you did something you weren't supposed to do. So one time I didn't.
That's how it works.
Yeah, I didn't do my homework, and my father found out, and because my teacher called and told him, rat. And my father says, "You do that again, and I'm going to drive you to school in your grandmother's robe." Okay, and I'm thinking, there's no way in hell. My father looks like Santa Claus. He's got a big white beard, long white hair, not long, but down to his shoulders. And I just kind of shrugged it off as a joke. And so about a month goes by, and there was one homework assignment I just didn't feel I needed to do, and I didn't do it. And my father found out again. And so my grandmother drove a Chrysler New Yorker that they had for 20 years, and the soft top that you're talking about would flap when they'd go down the road. My father put on her pink bathrobe and drove my ass to school. And I'm like 15 years old. That's the problem, right? All the kids get out in the front of school, the whole thing, and he walked me to my class. I turned in my homework after that.
All right. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Thanks for listening to Real Estate Exposed. And I don't think I'll ever get that image out of my head. So we'll talk to you again next week. We're going to really try to get Randy Hatada on, but no guarantees because he was very indecisive last night.
Come on,
but we're going to work
you can
on
do
it.
Come on.
So thanks for listening.